And welcome to the Ascent. Now, when I first loaded up this game, I was greeted with this title scene. It had the ominous red skies, the block white text, the blacked out platform with the flickering yellow light he was stood on. The synth wave music was blaring. I knew I was going to enjoy it just from the title screen. And I might think, how is that possible? It just spoke to me. Like, I just saw the title screen and I was like, this is a bit different. People know what they're doing here. So we were greeted with a character creation screen, and it wasn't the most in-depth I've ever been in, but it got the job done. Then we were greeted with possibly the most boring 10 minutes of gameplay. Everyone I've spoke to had the same perception of, yeah, the first 10 minutes does not sell the game well. And I was like, what is this game? What am I playing? Am I going to like this? I was a bit like, oh, come on, like, what is going on here? Then it hit me. Cutscene came in. I'd made it through the tutorial level. The cityscape was revealed. It was like cyberpunk, it was Blade Runner, it was Star Wars, it was night scenes, it was volumetric lighting, it was ray tracing, it was ambient occlusion, it was high quality textures, it was cinematic, the music was going. Ooh, there was like a ping system where you could tell where your character could go. And I was following through this night city with all the bright colours, the places to visit, the towns, greeting new characters, having conversations with them through, again, detailed, great looking cutscenes, which is not something you often attribute to a game made by about 10 developers. And I was like, this is how the game should have started. So if you play this game, just get through the opening 10-15 minutes until you get to that cutscene, and then the game comes into its own. You've obviously got some examples coming up on screen of some fantastic graphics. You've got debris, water, ragdolls, you've got RTX lighting, you've got lights coming through the air fan, you've got this green perforating the darkness. It just was visually very, very pleasing. There's so many little things in the game, from the little debris, from the explosions, from the little boxes that you can crack open, that automatically crack open. It just feels satisfying, and there's so much to the satisfaction in it that it appears simple when you watch it, but playing it, it feels so good. So the game itself is a top-down ARPG kind of shooter, which means you can upgrade your guns, upgrade your gear, find different gear, different equipment, but it also has a skill system. So you have like augmentations where you can do like gravity grenades, shot grenades, regular grenades. You can do kind of fire punches, gravity punches. You can have little mech turrets come and be distractions. You can augment your body, like you walk around the town, you go to the cybernetics guy. And it was just a fantastic experience. Like, the gameplay itself is this hybrid of an ARPG, like say a Diablo, a Path of Exile, where you go and farm. There are like routes to farm, sort of components to go and farm on bosses, and runs. There are little runs you can do, like any other sort of ARPG game. But it also is a shooter, and it is a really good shooter. Like, when you're watching the gameplay, it looks like there's just a dude rolling around shooting a gun. But it is so satisfying. You can duck, you can crouch, you can blind fire over walls, you can combine your skills. There are certain enemies that you're going to struggle with, and then all of a sudden you're going to be like, this guy's weak to electric. You're going to swap to your electric gun, and it's going to be so much better for you. You can sell all of the things that you pick up on the way and upgrade your gear from the town vendors. It was fantastic. What this feels like is like a next... It feels like a... How do I word this? It feels like another step up from kind of Remnant of the Ashes. A step up from Outer Worlds. That's what it feels like. Yeah, you can go to these town vendors, you can buy guns, you can upgrade your guns with components, upgrade your, go and buy better gear, find loot around the world with the map system. So the game itself is strangely kind of like a cyberpunk Gears of War. It is third person, so you can see your character, which is something I always enjoy. It's got the roll, which you can upgrade to like tactical evade, so you can do different maneuvers, but your basic move is a roll. Again, it's a small development team producing a 4-player co-op from both online and couch style. Now, like I've always said, and like the kind of developers have said, that there is a place for games to be made by 2,000, 10,000 people, and there is a place for a game to be made by one guy that is a 1-hour narrative story. And there is a place for a game like this, which is a series of just a low number of developers that have AAA experience, that are older, and they're putting all of their knowledge together to streamline the process and create this game that just simply wouldn't be possible from other teams. Like, this game, in absolutely no stretch of the imagination, feels indie in any way. Just the scope of it, the graphics, the style, the art style in this game is unbelievable. I don't know who the artists are that did this, but the art style is just so good. The thing that surprises me the most, and one of the things I enjoyed the most, which kind of sums up this game, is the dirt on the ground. When you look at the textures on the ground, it no longer looks like, oh, here's a piece of concrete, here's a piece of metal, here's some water. It just feels like a dark, gritty world, and it's so fantastic to play. That is what I'm trying to get across. There are boss fights, so that as you play through the game, you're going to have boss fights, which you can then obviously go back and farm if you want. You can do all that kind of stuff. You can go and collect bounties. Bounties are going to give you kind of upgrades and components and all of this stuff. And you have like friendlies, kind of, and you also have these people that are sort of on the guard, so you might bump into them and they might fight you, or they might not, or you can choose to fight them and they'll fight back. I just thought this game was a complete joy to play, and I wanted to share it with you. That was the main takeaway from this video that I wanted to put out there. Was I've not finished the game. I've sunk about 10 hours into it at this point. I think I've got relatively far into the game, and I'm not bored of it yet. Again, when you watch the combat on screen, it looks like, it's just a top-down, point your gun at someone and click. It's not like that. The gun satisfaction in this game is like no other. It sounds great. You can swap between a huge variety of guns. You can upgrade your guns, augment them to do different things. And using the cover, rolling, picking up health, going around the city when you're a little bit low and purchasing health from the vendors, or purchasing a bit of energy so you can get some more grenades, or mutating your skill tree so you're going to get energy back for damage dealt, then you can throw more grenades than you can dream. It feels fantastic. So you can upgrade evasion, health, crit chance, balance, there's so many stats here that you can tweak, that you can end up with different characters doing different things that might make you want to play through the game again with a different playstyle, a different character set. Or you can pay to reset all of your skills and try a new build out if that's something you fancy. A very, very fun, satisfying game to play with a very, very cool aesthetic. Created by a small team. It's got the co-op aspect of online or offline if that's your cup of tea. Or if you just want to play single player and enjoy the universe, you can go ahead and do that. So the Ascent for me gets a solid pat on the back. So I only really have 3 complaints for the game at the current time of recording. Number 1, the opening 10 minutes of the game were very, very boring and didn't do a good job of selling the game. And with the game being on Game Pass, I think a few people are going to turn the game off after a half an hour and think, what is this? Number 2 is Stair Combat. Now, when you're shooting downstairs, you just can't hit enemies. You just can't hit them. And obviously, there's a lot of verticality in this game. There's a lot of steps and stuff. And fighting on stairs can be very, very frustrating. So I just roll away from them and bring them towards me. Sometimes you can get in a situation where you kind of have to fight on the stairs and it can feel a bit awkward. So Stair Combat is not great. And I think it's something they should work on. And number 3 is a very strange complaint because it's got all the options you can imagine from a game. You can tweak everything to your heart's desire graphically and key binding wise, but it has one major issue, that you can't change the sensitivity. I'm not sure why. When I tried to play this on a controller, and remember, this is a Game Pass game, it's called a twin stick shooter, and a twin stick shooter basically means you're aiming with both sticks. And when the sensitivity by default is very, very high, so you can spin around quickly, it's actually really, really difficult to aim on the people consistently. And this goes for the mouse as well. So you can't change the mouse sensitivity of how quick you want to flick and aim and spin around. You either have to do that through your mouse software and change the DPI, or change kind of the pointer speed of the game through Windows. I just see no reason for you not to be able to tweak the sensitivity. It seems like maybe they've just completely forgot about it, but that's obviously a huge part in a shooter, is your sensitivity. Obviously I was able to get around this issue with me being able to change my DPI in my mouse, but for the controller players out there, it could be a struggle, so you might want to just check it out first, you know. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed this game. And it's nice just to be able to present a video and just say, yeah, I really recommend this game. It's like Cyberpunk, Gears of War, mixed with Diablo, mixed with Outer Worlds, mixed with a little bit of Path of Exile. Like, it's just great. Now, it would be cool if there was a lot more legendaries dropping and a lot more crazy items and maybe a bit of crafting you could do, but maybe that comes down the line. It certainly doesn't feel like this is the end of the experience. It certainly feels like this is the start of something, and that's a nice feeling, because some games have terrible cutscenes, some games have no cutscenes, like say Path of Exile, and then some have cutscenes but not good voice acting. This nailed it down to the ground, and for such a small dev team, yeah, round of applause for producing something like this. So that was my first look at the Ascent. It's a full recommendation from me. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, give a like, a comment, and subscribe if this helped you make a decision. Maybe you want to not play the game, maybe you do want to play the game. If I helped you make a decision, give a thumbs up and a comment and subscribe. If you're looking for different kind of content like benchmarks, football, fantasy league, Premier League reviews, shoe reviews, all kind of other random content, I have a second channel that I've just launched. If you want to support the second channel, you can join the zone. I'd love that to see you there. Thanks very much. We'll catch you in the next video.